Hallo ihr Lieben und andere YouTuber. Willkommen zu meiner Aussendung. Hundertfüßer im Körper. Mein Vater und ich haben Hundertfüßer im Körper und brauchen sehr dringend Hilfe. Erst möchte ich erklären, weil ich nicht Kontakt mit meiner Familie habe, auch nicht mit holländischer Familie. Das ist, weil ich gefoltert bin, sehr schwer mit Strahlungswaffen. Und mein Deutsch ist nicht sehr gut. Ich spreche nicht sehr oft Deutsch, aber ich versuche das, weil in Deutschland auch viele Leute sind mit Hundertfüßer im Körper und das kann Teil ausmachen von einem Programm, um die Erde zu entvölkern, und ich suche ein Mittel, um diese Hundertfüßer aus mein und mein Vaters Körper zu bekommen. Und in Holland bin ich missdiagnostiziert. Und ich will versuchen, es in Deutsch darüber ein paar Dinge zu sagen. Ich habe auch schon in Englisch manche Aussendungen gemacht und die haben mehr Info und ich hoffe, dass Leute in Deutschland, die auch Hundertfüßer im Körper haben, Kontakt mit mir aufnehmen und dass wir zusammen ein Mittel finden, ein Medizin, um diese Hundertfüßer aus unserem Körper zu bekommen. Ja, das ist, was ich sagen wollte. Und für mich ist es einfacher, Englisch zu sprechen. Ich kann Deutsch ziemlich gut verstehen, oder sehr gut. Ich verstehe beinahe alles, was man auf Deutsch sagt. Aber ich spreche das nicht sehr gut, so. Ja, wir werden dann sterben, als niemand ein Medizin findet, um die Hundertfüßer zu vermeiden. Und ich hoffe auch, dass es Tierärzte, Pet Doctors, ein Tierenarzt ist, die vielleicht ein Mittel weiß, um diese Hundertfüßer aus unserem Körper zu kriegen. Es ist dokumentiert als Pseudoparasitism of Myriapoda in humans. So, die meisten Leute wissen nicht, dass Hundertfüßer auch im Körper treten und sich wie ein Parasit darin fortpflanzen, multiplizieren, und sie machen Klick, das Klicken, Rattling in the throat, in the keel in Deutsch. Und die anderen Symptome sind auch in meinem Video beschrieben worden. Die Markierungen in Poop, in Feces, sind ungefähr so groß wie die Hundertfüßer und haben ein W Chevron Zeichen am Außerende. Das ist, weil man sie sehr gut erkennen kann. Der Körper, when the poop is thick enough, so that's another symptom. Das ist ein anderes Symptom. Und was noch mehr? Ich habe auch manche Hundertfüßer gefangen. Sie sind Lithobius forficatus und die leben auch in Deutschland, in England, Niederlanden und in USA. I'd have to look at the map again if that's correct, but I think so. Mehr darüber in andere Aussendungen auf dieses Kanal oder BC Hoffman on YouTube. Man kann klicken und dann kann man mehr Videos finden hierüber. Es ist möglich, dass man noch kein Medizin hat. Sie haben eins für Tausendfüßer. Das ist Niclosamide. Aber ein Junge in Iran ist daran gestorben, an Niclosamide vom Krebs. And I might do the rest of this broadcast in English to tell you all about, this is just to attract German viewers to find a cure for centipedes in the human body, which is known as pseudoparasitism of Myriapoda in humans. I haven't prepared this broadcast very well, so I'm trying to think of what is most important, how to get them out. Other people have contacted me that also have them in their body, and most people don't know about the dangers of centipedes because it's known as pseudoparasitism of Myriapoda in humans, and nobody's gonna Google that. They have never heard of it, and they stumble into these websites where they claim that centipedes are harmless and all that bullshit. They are extremely harmful, they are deadly, and I am warning in my broadcast, also asking for the help of mainstream media. Even Alex Jones, controlled position shills, anybody with many views, and I offer a €150 reward for anybody with a cure for centipedes in the human body. So if you know, wenn Sie einen Weg wissen, eine Medizin wissen, dann habe ich €150 für Sie Reward. Wir wollen diese Parasiten aus unseres Lichaam kriegen, so schnell wie möglich. Und yeah, so that's it for now, and I'm gonna continue in English because I can understand German very well, but speaking it I don't do very often, and then it sounds like kind of retarded. It's just to warn the German people about this, so use mesh, gaas in Dutch. Man muss, you have to put mesh in front of the ventilation shafts of your house so that these critters cannot get in, and you have to do a bug check around the house, behind the radiator, behind the closet, etc. Because even the common house centipede has entered the human body, and they procreate in your intestine. It's a total horror, and I've had these centipedes in my body for longer than 6 years, so they can survive with almost no air, and they eat feces. So if you take some kind of poison, then it's turned into poop, and they eat that. So and they are near the anus, from the anus to the throat, basically in the whole gastrointestinal tract. So it's for me, I have not found a way, though I've tried many things to get them out, many ways. I've not found a way to get them out yet, and it can be part of a global depopulation program, which I've also covered in my previous broadcasts. These perpetrators have also tortured my teeth out of my mouth with dental torture weapons, which they've also done to Timothy Trespass, another YouTuber I could show a video of. But I first want to give the whole story and let you all know what's most important about this. So never sleep in a house where you saw a centipede. Do the bug check and get mesh in front of the ventilation shafts. And the type, the species that's in my body is called Lithobius forficatus. And doctors will misdiagnose you and try to get you hospitalized, treat you against your will, and use chemical cancer-causing drugs to depopulate you. It can be part of a depopulation program, what Alex Jones calls Nazi eugenics, but these are Jews depopulating Earth, for example, Professor Pianka with a P of poop, and some others. I've listed 6 Jewish people, but there are non-Jews helping them as well to create a Luciferian totalitarian global government and rule the world from Jerusalem. And they want to get rid of 93% of the world's global population. And doctors and dentists apparently hear a voice in their skull that tells them what to do. 2 dentists have drilled holes in my teeth that they did not fill, and in all years before that, that never happened. So they drilled holes they didn't fill, and that's fucking weird. So hospitals are slaughterhouses, I've warned in my previous broadcasts. They're in the top 10 of main causes of death twice. One is misdiagnosis, and the other one is prescription drugs, leading killer in the USA. So they use doctors to depopulate. There's a doctor held a shipment that killed over 400 of his patients, also a Jew. And Jimmy Savile, the Jewish pedophile, etc. But I think this torture is done by a Dutch person, Dutch-speaking voice to skull, or neural network. And the fact that it repeats the same messages over and over makes me think that it's a neural network. But the amount of joy it has when my teeth are tortured out or when things go wrong for me makes me think that it's a person. So I didn't have any contact with family because I'm a directed energy weapon torture victim and my family has nothing to do with that. And I haven't seen them in 10-20 years or so. I know that one of my aunts has died, but I don't know any more than that about my families from the German side and the Dutch side. My mother is Dutch, my father is a US citizen, but before that he was a German. So that's why I have the Dutch and the American nationality, dual nationality. So it's possible this is done by the Jesuits, which have also demolished the WTC. They control the Mossad and other intelligence agencies, according to several sources online, but I still haven't found out with certainty the name of the person responsible for this torture, which may be Rothschild, Bilderberger, Bush. There are several possibilities, but the main controller of the Jesuits is Adolfo Nicholas at the moment. And during the demolition of the WTC, that was ordered by Peter Hans Kolvenbach, according to Eric John Phelps, which has now controlled the position. He started claiming that the Earth is flat instead of oblong, spherical, which it is. And it's easy to prove by overlooking a bay, and you can see the Earth's curvature. I found a way to tell the story faster. and when I repeat the same stuff that I think is important all the time, I find better ways of expressing myself. So sometimes it's very concentrated, sublimated intelligence, basically. Yeah, so I'm hoping that a pet doctor knows a cure, or that someone else knows how to get these fucking centipedes out of our bodies. And my father contracted them after sleeping one day in Tienhoven. And that means that these are not pseudo-parasites, but they're normal parasites. They will enter your body when they get the chance. If there's one in your house, they will enter your body. They want food, they want the protection of your body, etc. And they live in animals, also in dogs and cats. And I think that niclosamide cannot get them out. I haven't tried it yet, but the boy in Iran died after using niclosamide, though it expels the millipedes, or some of the millipedes, successfully, which are not centipedes. So it's on the leaflet that it's a cure medicine for millipedes, not for centipedes. It doesn't say not for centipedes. It just, you can also hear these centipedes in my throat. I hear them make clicking noises. And then when they go in with the camera, they're remotely controlled, believe it or not. They're hybrid insect micro-electromechanical systems. When they go in with the camera, then they don't see anything. They saw something in my throat with the CT or PET scan. I think the PET scan. They have to drink nuclear shit. And they treated me against my will, and they treated me as a delusional parasitosis patient. As an insane person. Despite me catching some centipedes that were clammed into my forehead, and the doctor of the AMC, Arnold Kater, refused to analyze the yellow sticky poison in my feces. So these people are accomplices to murder, and the police and others are working with these torturers with directed energy weapons. So they're all living in fear, they're all silenced, and they're all trying to serve the neural network, the voice of God weapon. And that way they are slowly depopulated. It's possible they've started their World War III, the Third Jesuit World War over Iran soon. So prepare for that with the radiological water filter and storable food. And yeah, a lot more about this stuff in my previous broadcasts. I've tried to find its eigenfrequenz, mortal oscillatory rate frequency of Dr. Rife, resonant frequency. So every organism and thing has its own eigenfrequenz, and if you find that, then you can destroy the organism or object with that if you use enough energy. But, well, it's possible I found one of these eigenfrequences, but I might not have a way to produce enough energy with scalar waves. And if they control them, then it's clear their plan is to label me insane and kill me with the centipedes, and nobody will ever find out the truth about it. So a person that catches centipedes cannot be a delusional parasitosis patient. If it would be an hallucination, then the person wouldn't catch real insects. They would be fictional. That's a delusional parasitosis patient, not somebody that has the insect bites all over his body, that catches these centipedes, etc. And they've misdiagnosed others with this illness, with centipede parasitosis is the official name, should be the official name, not centipede pseudoparasitosis. So, that's it for this broadcast that I started in German. I hope there are people in Germany that have a cure. But all over the world, some people have contacted me with possible cures are iodine, which would make them molt prematurely. I've tried that for a while, but that also affects my slijmvliezen. So that means drinking iodine mixed in water, basically. It's online, and you should first read up on it before you do any of these things. Some of them can be deadly. I've tried a horse dewormer, because for ivermectin for people you need a recipe. I bought horse dewormer, and I tried a dose of that is equivalent to what they use on humans. That didn't work at all, not one centipede expelled. the way I caught one in the UMC hospital where I was locked up, it was by sticking daisies up my ass, which may contain some pyrethrum, and it may have damaged the centipede that was near my anus for air. I wiggled my finger around and I squashed it into my intestinal wall, and it broke off about 3 legs. They can lose 2 legs and get away with it, but 3 legs is too much. And then it was crawling on the floor in the UMC hospital where I caught it, and the perpetrators have showed me that they can control these critters. They can control whether they move left, right, etc. And they may be high mems. They may have tiny nanobots in their body wherewith they are controlled. And it's not even necessary to remotely control them for the human or centipede or other animals to have a chip in its body. They do that with synthetic telepathy, which is also covered in many of my broadcasts. It's their main method to control people directly by controlling the brainwaves. The neural network can simulate any human, and it can also be used to crash planes into the WTC, for example. These are fly-by-wire planes. These planes are only controllable electronically. They have electronic hydraulics. So if the computer of that plane would be destroyed, then you cannot fly the plane anymore. It's impossible. Also, if it's taken over by a neural network with wireless energy, you can see these Foo Fighters flying next to the Concorde, for example, on universalpeace.jimdo.com. The other page is universecreator.weebly.com. that has a lot more about centipedes, also on my channel. If you search on centipedes in the human body, please help. That's the original video, and the other one is centipedes in my throat, DARPA, high mems or something. And then you can hear a high quality recording of the rattling noises they sometimes make in my throat. That's especially if I lie on my right side, then they usually make the clicking noises. On my left side they don't. And if I lie on my left side, then they start attacking my temple of my forehead with a beam that I can feel on my hand. I can also hear it on the pillow. But if I keep an AM radio close to that, and the antenna on my head, then it doesn't make any sound because they're using wireless energy. Normally AM radios, when you keep them near a big television screen or other electronic equipment, then you can hear that equipment. You can hear the way it makes the way it's modulated signal it produces, basically. So for this ball, that's and for the monitor, that's more like a like this. So I'm gonna pick another pipe now. I've said what I needed to say. I first did this. Single ladies are still welcome, but I doubt if any single ladies would want sex with a man with centipedes in his body. They'd rather have a dude without it, basically, without centipede parasitosis. So doctors are in on it, police and military are in on it. And these Jesuit infant eating homo pedo necro cannibals, that also tortured my mother, Geertje Hofman Malipaar, to death with directed energy weapons, are depopulating, killing 93% of the world's global population. So it's not because of me, but because of their depopulation plans. If you're affected by this yourself, 93% of the world's global population are, and you need a radiological water filter and storable food. And it is possible, though I find it unlikely, that they will create a world war over Iran. John Kerry, Skull and Bones, or a two-state solution world war. I've covered this in my previous broadcast because this is Universal Peace channel, or PC Hoffman on YouTube. So usually it's about these types of subjects, how to create a perfect society in which we all will live happily eternally, which is possible because everything is energy, so don't let them tell you otherwise. And Aubrey de Grey is working on controlling the 7 factors that control aging. There are 7 of them, and I don't see why my light is flickering. This is the broadcast signal that's on, and it's blinking red sometimes, so it's again close to, is it the CPU or something else, what is causing it? And lots of dropped frames, though I put it on 1500. millibytes or kilobytes per second. So if audio is also missing, they do that with wireless energy. The CPU is at 50%, so that's not causing it. And I've worked for a while to prevent further dropped frames, and I don't understand why it's so high on this broadcast. Extremely weird, but they can definitely control it with synthetic telepathy, with wireless energy. I can put it back on my camera. This is the outside view at the moment. It's very reasonable. The current date and time, exact date and time, is now coming into the picture. 11:35, 36, 7 seconds. Okay. Back to my camera to personify myself. So yeah, sex with me would be alright. It's not dangerous in reality. I'm using colloidal silver to kill the tetanus that can also be spread by these critters, so you definitely should get colloidal silver. And perhaps I should up my dosage on that. Oh yeah, other things that might get them out. I was talking about, I've tried diatomaceous earth food grade. But none of these worked for me. Perhaps I should try higher dosage. There was another drug, somebody contacted me that you have to take a certain laxative with a certain name and combine it with pineapple, which may contain bromelain, bromelain in Dutch, to get back muscle strength, because they're weakening the venom. You need liters of the venom to kill you, basically. So the venom is almost completely harmless. Only the port d'entrée and other bacteria and viruses can enter via that, but the venom itself is not deadly to humans. Perhaps you'd need thousands of centipedes before that venom becomes harmful. It's very annoying when they scavenge, I call it. They walk across the skin while biting it with their maxillipads, or actually with their mouth, and then dropping poison in the wounds, so they see us as their prey. And when they do it on the inside of my stomach, then I get diarrhea and I puke at the same time, and it's more excruciating pain than getting your teeth tortured out of your mouth one by one. That's really perhaps the most horrible thing that I have endured several times now. So I'm desperately looking for a cure for centipedes, not for aging. I think they'll get that. Aubrey de Grey thinks that people will be able to live up to 1,000 years, and by that time they may have other cures. And it may be quite unaffordable, though. I don't know what it would cost to. Perhaps it's only affordable for the pedo elite, and perhaps he was created more to make sure that others don't get that cure against aging, rather than to help all humans become eternal. But I don't know that. This is all speculation. So because he lists 7 of them, I think that it has to do with these Jesuits. It's their torture number, etc. And it's even possible that if a neural network exists, that everybody is tortured to death from the future, including the Jesuits, Bilderbergers, and others working on depopulating Earth. And in reality, we're not overpopulated. So it's their lie that we're overpopulated. That's the basis for their global government illusion. And these people are insane, they're psychotic, which they would pretend of me, but I have too much proof and evidence that shows I'm right and that they are lying, so they cannot get away with it anymore. And I think there is real resistance forming despite controlled opposition. Real resistance are people that expose controlled opposition people, Alex Jones and others. So yeah, it's best to unite with me. I've also been contacted by others via email that have these centipedes in their body. And I'm trying to find as many people as possible with centipedes in their body to unite, form a group, and then tell the world about this, to warn people for the dangers, tell them how they can protect themselves so it doesn't happen to them, because there is no cure, and also to get worldwide attention so that a cure is made, or if there is a cure already, that they contact me and get €150 reward for saving my father's life. If we'd have more money, then I'd give you more. My father was recently contacted by these scammers. He was scammed by people in Africa with the 419 scam. He's also taking a medicine for his legs that turns him into a compulsive gambler. And they wanted to give him another one, but that may kill him. And because he's getting supervision, he's supervised, he cannot handle his own money anymore. It cannot happen anymore, so it's no problem. Then I'd rather have a compulsive gambler than a dead father. So that's pergolide, it's in the leaflet. It turns people into compulsive gamblers. It's for restless legs, which may be another thing they cause with the FIPA array in Poker Flat, Alaska. So there can be continuous symptoms. It's a computer program, and it produces terabits, and it's possible to torture everybody on the planet to death with it. So that's just the worst case scenario, basically. But these people are into that. They see it as a form of control, torturing their fellow humans to death. They were often tortured by their parents or from satanic families, etc. These Jesuits, Freemasons, that are busy with depopulating you also. If you have a Freemasonic doctor or police officer, they may just kill you instead of protect and serve you in reality. And the whole government is controlled. So the whole government is terroristic because they control the judges with directed energy weapons. A fair trial is impossible. Of course they want to depopulate Earth. They've made this clear in their book quotes, which I've also covered. I've covered 6 Jews that want to depopulate Earth and other people, and I've attempted to press charges against these people that want to depopulate Earth with book quotes and Georgia Guidestones that prove they want to do that. And the police illegally refused me my right to press charges. That's one point. They even came at my door to tell me to remove my recording I had made at the police station of the second time when I attempted to press charges. And even if you could, then the judges would be controlled with directed energy weapons. Another thing is that since St. Clair Acquay, there have not been any cases of directed energy weapon torture, I think, that were in court. So it's impossible to press charges of that. They simply claim you are insane without evaluation by a psychiatrist, these police officers, and they're all totally brain controlled with the torture weapon by the Jesuits, homo, pedo, necro cannibals that have to eat an infant when they want to become pope. It's part of their initiation ritual, their military order posing as a religious order, and their cannibalism and Satanism was also documented by me. But the point was that the torture is probably done because I've attempted to press charges against one of them personally, perhaps Kissinger, perhaps another Bilderberger, perhaps the Dutch Bilderberg family, which I've also spoken quite negatively about them cutting off penises of little boys and hunting boys in the forest, etc., which was logged by eyewitnesses, and they run into the hands of controlled opposition, like Kevin Annett, a fake priest with a fake court. So these people are very clever. They use controlled opposition to themselves to prevent any real opposition. The Lenin quote, to control opposition we need to lead it ourselves, or something. Yeah, so I'm still being tortured to death, and most people cannot help me. And for most people this is a horror. Also for the birds that fall from the sky by the thousands because of the cancer chemtrails, this depopulation, torture with directed energy weapons, I mean. So I hope you all like my broadcasts. Give it a thumbs up and spread the information that's crucial for universal peace to prevent the Jesuits' Third World War. And most people, because they are in control, most people are blaming either the Jews or the blacks or the homosexuals, the homophobic, racist, etc. And I am not. So I have covered 6 Jews that want to depopulate the earth, but I make clear that there are many non-Jews helping as well. And that I'm not for exterminating any of these groups, for democide, which is what they're in fact doing. They are depopulating Earth, they are committing democide, and people cannot press charges against these people with the directed energy weapons. So they have the death ray of Nikola Tesla, and people cannot do anything without a Tesla plasma shield. They cannot protect themselves against their scalar weapons. Professor Meyl, M-E-Y-L, on YouTube, also German, has covered this, and it's the same thing as Nikola Tesla's wireless energy scalar waves, and the scientists agree that wireless energy exists, which can also be used to beam down energy collected with solar panels in space. I think they also did that. I don't know why they have not got more of them. Perhaps it's not lucrative enough, perhaps there are better ways. Sea energy is more efficient than wind energy. And there's the water-powered car of Danny Klein, also used by the military, that is kept from the consumers. So in reality they want eco-tax money, and they have a scam. They don't want to save the earth or the people at all. They want to depopulate it and enslave the rest of the world's global population, reduce the world's global population to 500 million, a more controllable number. That's the real goal, to rule the world from Jerusalem. To create that global government these Jesuits are. That's a correct sentence already, but these Jesuits are propagating, no? Not propagating, not enforcing. They want to impose it upon us, but they are also talking about this. They are proposing basically a global government, a world order, and they've always been about this. The Freemasons they work with as well. And they might pretend they're enemies of each other and shit, but in reality they're working together on exterminating you all people who are not Masons. So they're tribal. They do it for the group over the backs of other people that they murder, and they go and depopulate them, which is the way they've accumulated wealth and power with problem, reaction, solution. And you can see that as Ordo ab Chao. They first create the chaos and then they offer the solution, for example, poisoning the water wells and selling a water filter. And the other one was, for example, spreading Trojans, computer viruses, and then selling the computer virus software. So that's one of the famous techniques to depopulate Earth. It's just the main method they want to use to gain control, to totally brain control the masses, or rather the 500 million will be left after the World War over Iran. But you can easily survive with a radiological water filter and storable food. If you're in a big city, you'd have to be in a blast shelter, in a cellar, or you'd have to get out of that big city if this is really going down, which I doubt. But Iran did not comply with inspections, which they have made a promise in the nuclear agreement. So that means that the US may attack Iran. These facilities that don't allow these inspections, and then Russia, its ally, may start a world war with, and that may be their plan actually. They're Jesuits, their military order, that's their plan, to depopulate Earth to 500 million and rule the world from Jerusalem. Okay? So, yeah, that's it in a nutshell, what I think you all should know. And what I tell my German family about this. And also German pet doctors and others, to warn everybody in Germany for the centipedes. These are so obvious. And also the common house centipede, which is documented to have procreated in the intestine of humans. And most people are misdiagnosed. So with a CT scan, PET scan, colonoscopy and bronchoscopy, they cannot see these little fucking centipedes, which are about 1/3 of a pink's length. So they're extremely tiny. This is about 1/3 of a pink's length. I've shown a picture of it as well on a pink of somebody. So they're very tiny, much smaller than these tropical species, which have more deadly venom. Some of them may have deadly venom. I'm not saying that none of them have, but none of them may have it in reality. It's to kill smaller prey in the jungle and in the forest. So they will enter your nose when you're sleeping or your mouth. My father as well, the first day he slept in Tienhoven, where it was a wooden house with holes in the floor, which I kitted off myself. And one day I saw one of these centipedes next to my waterbed, and it was crawling up next to the waterbed, so I totally freaked out basically. And they also have a program with that to make you believe that these centipedes can speak, so they're using their voice to skull technology to give these victims the illusion that they're insane of themselves, and to get them hospitalized and then treat them against their will, and then they hope you resist that so that they can murder you and strap you down and shit like that. They're helping with the depopulation, doing what the voices tell them to. So it is perfectly safe to have sex with me, but not to sleep with me. If we'd have a relationship, you can sleep in another room. Of course, I can visit a prostitute, but I want real love, and real love is free. That's why music should never be paid for. Music should be free as well. And it's better to give the money directly to the artist than to buy their CD and then 80% goes to the record company and shit like that. It's not a good idea. You can download it all in the torrents. So either is giving some musicians you really like some money directly rather than... but sometimes it may be hard. Sometimes they have artist name, sometimes they're hidden, etc. But there are lots of videos about the music industry being controlled by the Satanists and others as well. The Illuminati plot of murders, etc. For example, they claim Prince killed his father and his son and other things, and Prince and Michael Jackson were both Jehovah's Witnesses, and Prince may have been sleep deprived because he was a vegetarian. I take it kind of seriously. And it's probably done by MI5. So MI5 might also be doing this to me, Rothschilds, but it started under former President Bush. However, the presidents are merely puppets that they control with their own handler. And everybody has that virtual gun to their heads, that directed energy weapon. And it's scanning their minds, so you can imagine how scared some people are and are trying to do what the beast computer, the voice of God weapon, wants them to. And they have very smart tricks to convince people that it's God, basically. It can show you the future, and then that would be enough for most people to do what it wants. They might not believe that it's God, but most of them would. I was going to check out that device. It was in some recent video. They have a device that can see the future, show you the future, but not selectively. but by now they may have better ways to see it selectively, and that would be seen through cameras or through people's eyes with synthetic telepathy. They can do that. So you don't have to see contact with me if you want to say you're sorry and stuff like that. We just need a cure, and I don't want to impede it with messages, other types of messages. Family is always welcome to contact me and stuff. I don't think they will do anything if you're not pressing charges against them personally. But I love all people who have not tortured me, so I don't want anybody to suffer over this for no reason. So don't run to the authorities, it will not help you, but rather lock you up and force drug you to death, etc. Other people have contacted me, they've also been misdiagnosed. I've covered their emails in my previous videos. I've also been thinking perhaps it's possible to anesthetize them, but I doubt that as well. If they have closable ventricles, which I read somewhere, then they can lock their whole body off for any poisons and shit, and then the humans will die from that, not the centipedes in their body. So they're using people's eigenfrequency or mortal oscillatory rate frequency to slowly kill them with directed energy weapons. And they can clone disease patterns, so they can induce any disease. So if you think it's your own disease, it may be genetic, is their story usually. That's all a big fat lie to depopulate Earth with these directed energy weapons. And ADHD may have been made up. They admit that that's a fake disease. The inventor of it on his deathbed claimed that also. But in reality, these are symptoms caused by GMO and cancer cell phone radiation, etc. So it's just a way to make sure that they don't get any treatment. They also have this false memory syndrome foundation to pretend of children that have been abused by their parents if they're pedo elite, that it's a false memory. It's a false memory, child. You need New World Order. What are you doing for New World Order? So they also control Masons in China, etc. It's a worldwide thing. I went to Cairo and the dental torture continued in the fucking plane. Would you believe it? They can attack very accurately. You see these scalar orbs flying next to the Concorde. I can show it on my channel. My website, I mean. And probably they already knew. The neural network can simulate any human, so it knows everything you know, etc. Here are these book quotes of people who want to depopulate the Earth. World population needs to be decreased by 50%. Dr. Henry Kissinger quoted in the book The Final Days. I checked this, but I cannot find the book or the quote elsewhere. The book may be there. Let's see if the book exists überhaupt. But the other two quotes are real, verified. And also the Georgia guidestones are still standing, which advocate maintaining the world's global population at 500 million total global population. That means getting rid of 7 billion people somehow. And of course they've planned this world war over Iran, it's obvious. And they control the Muslim Brotherhood, so these people at the top are about exterminating all these plebs, all others. They're tribal, they do it for the group, and that's the way they've built their empire. The Final Days, Kissinger. Well, he's a bit older, so perhaps for him these are the final days. It's just reflection, basically. Henry Kissinger, architect of the New World Order, Bibliotheca Pleiades.net. Now I'm looking for the book The Final Days. A 1976 non-fiction book written by Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein. So that's the book that it's in, supposedly. I haven't verified this. Total world population of 125, but it's clear they want to depopulate Earth. They've made other statements about this, and Bilderberg, etc. There's a lot more information about it online. So there's no doubt about it. They're bloody serious about depopulating to 500 million. These people that did these things to me are typical Satanists, and most probably they are Jesuits depopulating Earth to create their global government with a satanic inner core. And their cannibalism is also described on universecreator.weebly.com, which also has a list of other things I've tried to get the centipedes out. A total world population of 125 to 350 million people, 95% decline from present levels would be ideal. Ted Turner interview with Audubon magazine, he's of CNN, Agenda 21, and the book Eco Science. And they have loads of Jewish employees working for them at CNN, which I've covered with a picture. And then there's the Talmud quote, even the best of the Goyim, non-Jews, should be killed. So it's interesting. And I actually think the world will be much better off when only 10 or 20% of us are left. Professor Eric Pianka book, The Vanishing Book of Life on Earth, that's still online, and statements on CNN he made. It's a Jewish professor, Pianka, in reality, and doctor of the AMC is an oncologist, also Professor Arnold Carter. He may be involved with sci-tech, which may be involved with nanotech, which I've covered in my previous broadcasts. He's a possible murderer. And I'm just trying to warn the world and get attention, to find ways to warn people about centipedes and to find a cure for centipedes in the human body, because many other people have emailed me that have the same problem, and some of them were misdiagnosed as well. They may have a program to depopulate the Earth this way for their global government. But what did I visited this page for another reason. Oh yeah, the scalar orbs flying next to the Concorde. The illegal crop circles, scalar orbs making illegal crop circles. That video disappeared. And they're doing this selectively, so they ask people to remove a video. I've shown it in another broadcast as well. So you can see these orbs are also used to make these crop circles. They're just scalar orbs, wireless energy of Nikola Tesla's death ray. So here you can see one flying next to the Concorde. Okay, it starts with rather black videos. So they put this at the beginning so people think, oh, this is nothing, I move to the next video. So they're all brain controlled to a certain extent with synthetic telepathy, possibly from the future with wireless energy. So the only way to defend your brainwave and your body is with a Tesla plasma shield, and there's only one picture of that online. Also, I only want to show the one near the Concorde. So here you see that scalar orb flying next to the Concorde. And the Concorde, of course, is no more. It crashed, and Tupolev, the Russian version, is still there. And not all Russians are Bolsheviks, etc. This was also an interesting video of, this is a real news channel reporting about this, what looks like pyramid-shaped flying saucer. So it's not really an unidentified flying object, probably charging itself with lightning. And I've checked the news channel, at least the news channel is genuine. So here you will see it out over here. It seemed like it was over there first. Wait until we see it clearer. There. So if it moves the way it does, then it may be able to teleport also, which is also described. I did a broadcast about the coils you need to teleport, to time travel, and to become invisible, and to levitate these saucers which they keep in Queen Maudland in Antarctica. But if people are brain controlled, they laugh and ridicule the truth, basically. They never believe it. Also because of the movies, they make movies and show stuff they really have. For example, Neo in the Matrix has these remotely controlled insects in his body. And now they have the HIMEMS, the hybrid insect microelectric mechanical systems. And in the Matrix one we hear the only real people live in Zion. Well, so that's another cool video I discovered. So I really put the most important and best stuff on my channel. I might change this video back to another one that shows crop circles. Perhaps it helps to find what the original title of this thing was. So they've terminated the whole account. Why? Oh, it's reloading the thing, so then I have to find another way to find it on YouTube. Because it's trying to reload the video. Crop circles are the work light orbs. They should be the work of light orbs. And perhaps it's to tell us to turn it off in reality, or they've erased the word off in their minds with synthetic telepathy. So these they let people write the truth, make these text errors and speech errors, and the people that are lying. Horse making, crop circles. There are also lots of pictures of it. So that's done with their FIPA array in Poker Flat, Alaska. That's through the wall radar. And HARP was a fake facility open every 6 years to the public. Like these 6 million Jews they want us to believe have died in the supposed Holocaust. Though they have adjusted that number to much lower numbers, it's still, the official number is 6 million, which is impossible. And the whole thing is impossible in reality according to the sources online. But I'm in the Netherlands, so I'd better not deny the Holocaust, oh no. So I leave it up to the viewers for themselves. And the final solution was originally a Jewish idea to exterminate the German people, the book of Theodor Kaufman, Germany Must Perish, long before the Nazis ever mentioned the final solution, which was a reaction to their attempts to exterminate the German and other people and take over the world, basically to rule the world from Jerusalem, to create a global government. And the Jesuits are the main people, together with the Freemasons. Those can be Orthodox Jews, Muslims also, and they are Freemasons worshipping Lucifer. So here you see how the crop circles are made. These little scalar orbs, which are measurable with a scalar detector. So the directed energy weapon attacks are done with wireless energy of Nikola Tesla's scalar energy, not microwaves, which millions of targeted individuals claim. They just copy the lie from the other person that they read it from. And most of them never find out that it was a directed energy weapon. But I think most people may have had that experience, that it felt like a hand was touching them or something like that. And it's possible everybody was tortured, everybody hears voices, but everybody is programmed to deny it. Because they'd be treated as psychotic patients and forced drugged to death if they would claim they hear voices and maintain telling the truth. Oh yeah, and Joe Biden, with the FEMA humane guillotines. These are these things they use to chop off people's heads. These Jesuits. It's a Jesuit invention also. And they've tortured 50 million people, innocent civilians, to death in their Inquisition, which they're famous for next to their pedophilia, because they've paid more than anybody else in these pedo cases in court. Just in Italy, over 200 million. I'm not sure it was Italy, but it was just one country, and I thought it was for the whole world, but it was just for one country. Oh, we already saw this one. Okay, well, and then I've showed that, and that's pretty interesting. But I've had them in my body for longer than 6 years now. And they're remotely controlled, so if one dies and it doesn't end up in my poop, usually they let them walk out of my body and hide somewhere in a place where I won't find it. They're remotely controlled. I've covered this stuff. I've covered their DARPA's nanofly. I've covered ants that were in my room in Amsterdam, in Hackford. the Bijlmer, basically a suburb of Amsterdam, sort of the ghetto, in the ghetto. And I've covered insects, qua remote controlled insects, centipedes of DARPA, hybrid insect micro-electromechanical systems. And they lie to you. They even use scientists who lie to you, for example, about the harmfulness of cancer cell phone radiation, microwaves. They pretend they're harmless, though in reality they cause DNA breaks, cancer, and tumors on the side where people have kept their cancer cell phones to their heads. And that's a reproducible study that you can do yourself. Use a cell phone for 90 seconds and then check your blood under a microscope. Then you'll see you have lumping red blood cells, which they pretend that it's harmless, a symptom called rouleau by doctors, to depopulate the earth. And the other thing is the MIT lying about the fact that aluminum foil shields the cancer cell phone radiation. And a microwave meter is very expensive, that's why almost nobody knows that in reality it's shielded by aluminum foil. So those people aren't crazies, they're not crazy people, paranoid, nor psychotic, which is what they pretend, because the MIT lying about the fact that aluminum foil shields cancer cell phone radiation, cancer UMTS with a factor of 300. They lie about this because they work with Raytheon, the main company producing these directed energy weapons, wherewith they hope to get rid of 93% of the world's global population, in combination with the World War and other depopulation methods they're using. So they want to dumb you down, sterilize you. The main thing they want to do is depopulate Earth to a more controllable number, to enslave the 500 million people that will be left after the World War for Iran. So then I'm tired of it again, and I think I might switch off my broadcast temporarily until I get a better idea. So pet doctors, anybody that might have a cure, please help search and also to find its eigenfrequencies, catch some of these centipedes and test with a tone generator with a frequency sweep, slow frequency sweep, and then look where they start moving and responding to that frequency. That could be its eigenfrequency, and that would be the ultimate way to get them out of our body. Then we don't need medicine, we don't need surgery, we only need its eigenfrequency, which they may know. The people that control these centipedes may know all that shit. They've brain mapped people, so they know everything I know, and the neural network does things based on our thought and things we do and say, and based on our brain map, so it knows what we'll do. If it does this, then we will probably respond that way, etc. My precognitive visions, I'm still not certain if humans have this ability, also to remote view via a little iPad camera that's switched off. Theoretically it's possible because of evolution and the fact that only the fittest, the fuckers and the smartest survive. So people that can see the future definitely have an advantage over people that cannot. So it may be formed by evolution, and perhaps it's more likely that it was formed by millions of years of evolution than some neural network that has recently been invented. And sometimes I really think that it's impossible, that it's only possible with a neural network. At a point I wanted to become Jewish, because I thought I was hearing the voice of God. There's definitely something there. And that's the voice of God weapon in reality, and that may have time travel capability. And that's no miracle either. Everything is energy. All is vibration, so everything is possible. We are molecules, the air is molecules. And that's energy, protons, neutrons, electrons. So we are energy, and everything is energy. So it's about channeling the energy and controlling the 7 factors that control aging. For people that don't have centipedes in their body, they can just do a bug check and make sure that they never enter their bodies, and then they'll be alright. Centipedes, so they only need that 7, these control the 7 factors that control aging, which I've done a separate previous broadcast about it as well, several. So I cover my writings usually at the end of a broadcast, my recent collection of what I think is most important for the world, information that should be known to everybody to create a perfect society in which we all will live happily eternally. So I'm now going to temporarily halt this broadcast for universal peace. I love you all people who have not tortured me. Yeah, and I don't know what to advise. Directed energy weapon torture. Probably if there's a funeral or whatever, then I might see my family members. Then I may explain to them why I haven't sought contact, but they haven't contacted me either. They might know, also from my broadcasts online, that I've been tortured with directed energy weapons, and they don't want that to happen to themselves and their family, their loved ones. I can understand that very well, and that's also why I have not sought contact with them. Yeah. So then I'll do another broadcast about some other subject when I think of something new. I'll now temporarily halt the broadcast for universal peace. Single ladies are welcome for the free and massage, or to have sex, or to make a movie, watch a movie in 3D, or sit on the balcony, etc. Make music. Make love, go AWOL, it's safest. Universal peace now. Peace out.